everyone, in this video I'm just going to be talking about how to get convincing Metallica covers using 5 easy steps, so let's get going. So I'm going to be recording all of these into Reaper. It's my DAW of choice, but you can use Cubase or even Logic if you have a Mac. Doesn't really matter, as long as you follow these steps, everything should be alright and it should sound the same. Number 1, pay attention to how the tracks were recorded. So it's very important that you pay attention to how the tracks were recorded in the specific song, and I'm going to use Enter Sandman as the example for this, and I'm just gonna do the distorted guitar part, right? I'm not gonna bother with the clean part. So you can tell right there at the beginning, it starts with an open E, and that open E is sustained in the right speaker, in the right channel, and in the left channel, there's the guitar doing this part. So you gotta pay attention to how the tracks are panned as well, which is very important if you wanna make it sound convincing and make it sound as close to the original as possible. And if we go further here, you can hear in the right speaker, right before all the guitars come in, you can hear what should be Kirk, a guitar going. And then all the guitars come in like a wall of guitars, which is amazing. Which is sick. So we're going to do that. We're just going to record it exactly like that. But first, you gotta go to step number 2, which is prepare your tracks. Now to prepare my tracks, I have my rhythm guitar here with my tone dialed, right? Which is the Sandman tone. So I'm just going to have to quad track this song. First off, you create your guitar bus. You just create an empty track. Doesn't matter, the source doesn't matter. Just go up, like here, like this, right? And now this is my guitar track, which has my actual guitar sound. Okay, we're just going to copy and paste this. I'm just gonna click duplicate tracks here. And we're going to make 4 of these tracks. And then this little folder right here, if you put your mouse over it, it turns into a plus. You click that plus, and you have 4 tracks slaved to this one track. This is called a guitar bus track. This is a bus track. So I'm just going to name this guitar bus. And I have it right down here as well with the fader. So now, if I play all these guitars, headphone warning, turn your volume down because it's gonna be very loud. See that? That's no good, no good. That should not be happening. So now, instead of lowering the volume of each track individually, I can just go to my guitar bus right here or right here. It's the same thing. Just get the volume about 7 dB. See? 7 dB wasn't enough. Just go lower. 15 dB. So you gotta aim with your guitar master track or guitar bus. It needs to hit about -6 dB on the master track. Mine is a little above, but it's usually fine. And now, as you can see, I have 4 tracks. They're all centered. Now we're going to go into that a little later. But for tracking, this is perfect. You want them all centered, so when you play each individual track, they match up perfectly. You get them as tight as possible. And now it's time to dial in your tone. I already did that and I just duplicated my tracks. But usually you just want to create the guitar tracks and then dial your tone in if you want to record a specific cover. And then we'll move on to step number 4. Step number 4. Play as tight as humanly possible. Okay, so one way to record guitars really tightly is exactly this. These are all panned in the middle. So if I take this pan wheel here and pan these two to the left and these two to the right, you will hear, if I only have the left ones open, only the left channel is activated. So you can hear in the left channel, but you want these at first, only at first, to be centered. By the way, if you screw this up and you don't want to just align it perfectly with your mouse, just double click it, it goes back to center. Same with the volume, it just goes back to 0 dB if you double click it in Reaper. So now I have my tracks ready. Let's get a backing track going. Backing track is here. Now pull this backing track out of the guitar bus. And it's right here and right here. It's out of the guitar bus. This is how it was. You just grab it, like click on it and drag it out. Drag it downwards and it's out of the guitar bus. Guitar bus only does guitar work. Now it's time to start tracking. I usually activate 2 tracks just so I can hear my guitar over the backing track. Let's get the backing track lower because I know the backing track is very loud and it clips immediately when you start it. So I'm just gonna get it lower. See, it's pretty loud even if I put it at -4 dB. So what we're going to do now is start tracking the song. Now to play as tightly as possible, have your tracks centered, and let's find a sweet spot where I can get ready to play my guitar. And let's hit play and hit record, and I'll show you how I track my stuff. I'm obviously going to speed this up because you do not need to see me play the same riff 4 times, but it's just how it's gonna go. Let's see. Okay, that should be enough for now. I'm not gonna track the whole song, but we have our 2 tracks here. One of them needs to get deleted, because if you just record a 1 track and copy paste it over all of the tracks, it's just gonna be 1 guitar but louder. It's not gonna have the stereo effect, it's not gonna have anything, it's just gonna sound dry, it's just gonna be 1 guitar. Now, I have this track recorded. Now what I need to do, first of all, get the backing track a little bit more quiet. And now, I have this track. Now let's record the other track. I'm just gonna play the exact same thing over top of it, and because it's centered, I need to get it perfect, or else I will be able to hear that one of them is off if they're centered. If you pan them right away before recording, it's gonna be harder to figure out if you actually played them tight enough.
Don't forget my son, to include everyone. I tuck you in, all within, keep you free from sin, till the Sandman he comes. Sleep with one eye open.
You can tell I messed up there, because on the part after the verse, so it goes like, one of them was open, I did it like this, and the second one I did it like this, and that's no good. You want to play the parts the exact same way you played the first one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fix that real quick. The one way I like to do it, I don't like punching in stuff. The way I like to do it is just take the track, duplicate it, delete one of them, and now this one's empty. And I usually have a track like this called a filler track. So now I have my filler track created, and I'm just gonna hunt down the spot where I messed up. Right there. That's where I messed up. So I'm just gonna take this part out, replay a little bit of it, and I'll show you the magic. Just so I don't have to record the whole thing over, just because of that.
Say your prayers, it's a one. Don't forget, my son, to include everyone. I tuck you in, all within.
Okay.
Keep you free from
So now you make this track smaller, make the track smaller here as well, but it needs to hang at least one bar over here. I usually have the grid off, but this is fine. And just drag it and drop it into place. And now your filler track can go, in case you're sure you're not gonna mess up again. Just get the filler track out, and now it's gonna sound good. Here. Yeah, so that's how you fix it in case you mess up one track, because you need to play the same thing. Now here's how they sound centered but layered on top of one another. Now it sounds good, but it doesn't sound quite right. It sounds weird, right? It's because they're centered. You need to pan them afterwards. But now we'll keep it like that, just so we have a point of reference. And now let's record the right hand tracks. These two are both going to go to the left.
till the Sandman he comes. Sleep with one eye open.
And let's get the fourth track.
Sleep with one eye open.
Okay, so now we have the 4 tracks recorded. This is where I was testing if my guitar was on. So just cut these here, because you do not need this much silence in the tracks. It's just gonna make it more of a pain in the ass to deal with. You're gonna hear like little and like pick sounds from where you touched the guitar, like this, like, you know, stuff like that. So you just cut those out when you can. So here's how it sounds. You can get these louder. And this is not panned, right? Just listen to that difference. This is one track. We can get this louder, just so you can hear it, right? Right here. Alright, and now here's how 4 tracks sound. Let me just do this so I can get this level. Yeah, here's how 4 tracks sound. They're not even panned yet, and it sounds so much thicker and so much bigger. And now, the panning is very important. So let's pan the tracks. These are my left tracks, these are my right tracks. So now we take the pan wheel here. I prefer it instead of doing it here, I just do it here. And let's have a forward-ish track and a back track. So we're just gonna have our forward track be panned 70% to the left. And our back track is gonna be 90% left. Here's how they sound now. You see that the weirdness in the sound has gone away because now they don't occupy and they don't fight for the same space in the mix. They're both to the left, but they have a little bit of room because one is like here and one is like here. So they have some room to breathe and be there in the mix on their own. So they're gonna be much clearer that way. So that's how they sound now that they're panned to the left. And now we're gonna do the same thing for these tracks, but we're gonna pan them to the right, so 70 and 90. There we go. They're all panned. This is how the main riff sounded before. And this is how it sounds now that the tracks are panned. As you can see, it opened up the sound, but the wall of sound is still there because they're tracked very, very tight. And now this is how the beginning sounds with the guitars panned to the left and the right. And see, because we aimed to track so tight, you can tell that the left side guitar, you would not be blamed to think that it's just one guitar. So there's just one left and one right, but it's two in the left, two right. But we just tracked it so tight that it has the punch and it has the meat and it's very, very thick and it sounds like one guitar, but it's not. That's how you get thickness in your sound. You don't dial up the bass on the amp. You don't put extra EQs. Just get a very, very tight double track or even quad track like we are in this example, and it's gonna sound monstrous and you'll see the difference. You can even add more. Sad But True has 8 tracks. So 4 to the left, 4 to the right. So that's how you do it. That's how you get this sound. And that's how you get a proper Metallica cover to happen. Now, we're going to go over Wherever I May Roam real quick, just so we can talk about how harmonies work and how Metallica records harmonies. Because there's different bands that record harmonies in different ways.